Hey guys, Mika here, and I'm bringing you a very traditional sounding, fantastic Kotaro custom ukulele concert size, beautiful curly call on this instrument. Not only on the front, this one has more of like a kind of a darker orange color. And for those of you who aren't, super familiar with koa, I mean koa, there's so much color in the spectrum with koa, from the lightest of light blondes to the whiteness of the sapwood, all the way to your caramel orange, to your darker orange, to your more reddish kind of brown red dirt kind of colored koa, to like this really fiery red koa. I mean, it kind of the spectrum goes very long, and it's very much spread apart. And then how the koa looks can just go in so many directions too. Is it going to have curls and flames and you know black stripes going all over their instrument, or is it going to be more like this where there's no crazy stripes? You can see some of the stripes right here, not so apparent, but you can see that it's more of like a cleaner face, not cleaner like the other ones are dirty or anything, but cleaner in terms of there's no like strikingness of the coal. It's just more of a straightforward, just nicely big curls stacked on top of each other very tightly, going from top to bottom. So for me, this is like my kind of coal where I love and appreciate all the types of coal, but for me, having my own kind of like preference, like this is kind of the way I like to go with coal. Just nice and just beautifully book match, nice tight curls right here on the front. Very awesome stuff, and it's highlighted very nicely. And this is exactly what I meant about how this is like a darker kind of koa, curly koa. This is a good example of the lighter curly koa here on the top, but the binding of itself is also Hawaiian curly koa. But look at how bright orange, you can see the contrast matches very nicely with the more darker kind of orange brown kind of color here on the sides. And notice how, see again, with koa, look how different the front is compared to with the back. This one you have like wider strips of grain right here, and the grains are more like kind of curl or like claw like right here. They're kind of bigger and fatter. They're not going all the way across, versus over here it kind of goes all the way across. But you can tell the color or the pattern of the curls is a lot different than say the front. And then when you look at the back, I mean look at a nice streak right here. Again, so what I mean, like, you just never know what you're gonna get with koa. It's just such a beautiful piece of wood, and it's like a treasure. You just never know what you're gonna get, and everything you find in it is just really nice and beautiful. Again, this one has nice, like the darker kind of brown red, some of the lighter oranges, and then the big fat curls going all inside or towards the inside of the instrument. Again, beautifully accented with this nice orange like curly koa binding, as well as here on the heel block of the instrument. And notice this really cute but amazing Nautilus shell design right here as the side sound port. So you can get an accurate representation of what the instrument would sound like if you're sitting in front of it. Now you have some of the sound when you're strumming or picking. It has it spilling out towards your face so you can hear the instrument a little more naturally, as if, versus having someone else play it and then you're kind of sitting in front of it. To me, the side port is also a good feature because it allows the instrument to breathe a little more. I like to think of it as like a big water bottle, big like the blue bottle that you have the water machine. If the water is only coming out from the big hole from the bottom, if you poke a big hole on the side, now the water can come out faster or the water can escape. You can think of the water like sound when you're pushing sound into the instrument. Now you have another mode for it to escape. So to me, in my ears, it kind of allows the instrument to breathe a little more. There's more space, there's more breath into it. So the sound kind of encapsulates more of the surrounding like kind of bubble or circle, or the sound fills the room a little more, versus it coming out just from the sound hole might just push it forward. So that's just kind of my take. I'm not saying like without the side port it's bad or anything, but it's just from what I hear, I really do like the addition of side sound ports with custom instruments. And even extra brownie points when you get a really cool design just like that. It's just really beautiful and very unique to Kotaro ukuleles, custom ukuleles. So coming back here on the front, we have spalted mango around the rosette. Nice big piece of spalted mango. And then we have nice pau abalone shell, double pau abalone shell, one around the outside and one around the inside as well. And then a kind of a smaller detail, but this curly coal binding that's here on the outside of the instrument is also present on the inside of the instrument. Sometimes it's present, sometimes it's more like naked. It's just like the actual wood itself. This one actually does have an extra layer of binding of the curly coal around the inside right here of the depth of the instrument. So nice little touch. We have nice bokote wood right here on the front. Gives it a more of a woody kind of aesthetic throughout the whole ukulele when you're looking at it. And just this color just adds on top of the other kind of woody colors that you're getting. You know, so you have a lighter touch right here, the darker orange, the lighter orange, the lighter orange, and then these upgraded Waverly tuners right here. You have this kind of a light, fainter kind of brown, which is a coral buttons. Again, Waverly tuners are just excellent tuners. And then even the KG right here, the logo, it's just a different shade of brown. So, I mean, there's so many different types of brown going on this instrument, even here on the back of the neck as well. Satin finish. And just beautiful stuff. This instrument, I also noticed it has a radius fretboard, so I think it makes a noticeable difference when you're playing bar chords on the instrument or just holding the instrument in general. And then another really cool thing about this instrument is the fret markers. So even though there's no fret markers here on the fretboard, you can see on the side right here that you have the black fret markers on 5, 7, 10, 12, and 15. And then you have like the little brass circles, like that brown brass color that's wrapped around the black part of the fret markers here on the side. So all in all, just beautiful. I mean, just a perfect example, textbook example of how curly coal can be all different types of colors, be all different types of grain patterns, have all different kinds of things going for it, and even here on the back plate of the instrument, it just has so much going for it. I mean, I would even argue the curly coal here is different than the curly coal that's like wrapped around the sides. You know, this one has more of like a spread out kind of feel to it. And then even on this side, just beautiful. Masterclass of a beautiful instrument. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this when I pick this instrument up and I'm like strumming, as soon as I start strumming, it reminds me of like what traditional Hawaiian music would sound like, or if I'm thinking of like what the musicians would play, you know, 20, 30 years ago in that era of Hawaiian music. It just has that nice, warm, inviting, there's like no punchiness at all. There's like no treble. It's all rounded, all in the mid-range. This is a concert size, so you're not going to have as much depth, nearly as much depth as a tenor size and baritone like a mini guitar. So like when I strum a C chord, it just has like a very joyful, happy sound, but you know, it's not a soprano where it's going to be bitey like on the A string. When I pluck the A string, and this is with my nail, it has a nice rounded, warm tone. So when you couple that with strumming, it's just so easy on the ears. Nothing jumps out at you. It's not muddy. It's not boomy. Well, it's a concert. It shouldn't be boomy. But when I'm plucking on it, it just has a nice rounded sound. So altogether, when you have that nice rounded sound from the A string all the way to the C string, and the C string is not thumpy too, nice and clean. Altogether, you just get a classic Hawaiian traditional sound. So I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't even know if that's correct, but it sounds pretty cool. I would like to think that sounds a little bit Hawaiian, but it just sounds so cool. Again, this is such a fun instrument to go ahead and strum on. Now, concert sizes, you can go ahead and do finger style, but depending on like, you know, I feel like I'm a pretty large, pretty big person. So my hands, normal size, I guess. But for me, it's a little squish to do finger style. And again, with these kind of more nylon strings, you're going to get more of a rounded sound. So maybe not, it might not be the best sound for fingerstyle, but as you can hear it, it's so clean at the same time. It doesn't have enough punch for me, but again, this is all biased in terms of like what I want to hear. But it has such a nice rounded sound. It can still do fingerstyle extremely well if you want this more rounded kind of sound. But really, the strumming is phenomenal. It's so easy. The action is really low on this, but I can really dig into it. It's not going to buzz. So, it's a phenomenal instrument. So, here's a little bit of fingerstyle, but I'll do a little bit more strumming, this time uninterrupted, unlike before. So, here's some traditional stuff. it's a fun little instrument to play. Wow. Again, I just really love how this instrument really excels in that nice rounded, warm, mid-range sound. Again, for my kind of classical ear, or like kind of what I like to hear, I do wish there was a little more bitiness to it, but I also can appreciate how like when I play like that song Heat Love It, it has such a older kind of feel to it that to me I actually appreciate that more than the sound that like if I had like more fluorocarbon strings and it's a lot, you know, it kind of cuts through a little more. I don't think it's just gonna give it that same feel that like this ukulele gives it. So it's just really nice. All right, here we go. Show me. Going up or going down. Not going up.